Hello neighbor, this is Curt with etrailer, and today we're taking a look at the Romik RAL-B running boards, and we're going to see how they install and how they look with our 2025 Jeep Wrangler Unlimited. Now, a running board or a Nerf bar is an excellent way to make exiting and entering your vehicle safely, in particular when you have a vehicle like we have today with a higher ground clearance. Adding that step is going to cut several inches on your step all the way up and down in and out of here. And it's just going to make it a whole lot safer and easier on you to do it. Now, Romik running boards are known for their kind of customization, I guess you could say. They're really easy to kind of modify. They allow you to push them forward and move them back. They allow you to get them closer and further away from the vehicle. A lot more modification with these than are allowed than some of the other running boards and Nerf bars out there. So from a position standpoint, what we did with these is we've actually got them pushed kind of all the way to the back. It gave us the best second row coverage to have it done that way because there's plenty of room for it up here in the front. Now, these are going to have a powder-coated steel bracket attaching it to the vehicle, but the running boards themselves are made out of aluminum. So between that powder-coated steel and the aluminum, these are going to do a really good job of keeping that corrosion and rust out of these and helping them last for a very long time. One of the more functional things that we've got here are these little squares that we see at the top are actually a rubber, so it provides a really good grip for you, while also being designed in a way that it's not going to trap any water up here. In fact, we have this nice lip running along the back with the vehicle, and it's going to really kind of force any liquids to run off of our running board this way. So let's go ahead and see how much these are going to help us getting in and out of our Wrangler Unlimited. So in order to get all the way up here into the door threshold, we're at a height of 26 inches, and our running boards are sitting at a height of 18 inches. So we took 8 inches off of our step getting up in and out of here. Again, just going to help us out in those situations, just keeping everything safe. The step itself is going to be 5.5 inches wide, and you'll be able to use most of that. It does kind of tuck under the lip of your door a bit, but it's still wide enough to make for a good safe step. It's also going to offer a 400-pound weight capacity. Now, installation of these is really, really simple and straightforward. There are 3 different mounting points on here. Each of them only takes 3 bolts. The bolt holes are already in the vehicle itself, so there's not going to be any drilling involved on your part, and all of the hardware is included. So follow along and I'll show you exactly how we got these on our vehicle today. So to start our installation, we'll begin with our brackets. And first we need to talk about bracket placement. There is certain brackets that you want to put in each of the 3 mounting locations that we find on each side of the vehicle. So we're going to be working on our driver's side right now. And our front bracket, you'll see these tabs that kind of come over from the main body of it. Our front bracket, those tabs need to be facing the back of the vehicle. And then our middle and our back bracket, this tab needs to be facing the front of the vehicle. Now, each of these are attached by putting this piece on the outside where these open bolt holes are. Each of these will get a bolt, and then there's a bolt that's going to go vertically into a pre-threaded hole in the frame. So we're going to work on the front bracket. So I've got the appropriate bracket. My tabs are facing the rear of the vehicle, and this is going to line up just like this. We've got this part here on the outside lined up with these 2 bolt holes here and here, and that is going to help line up our vertical bolt hole right here. So I'm going to hold this in place, and I'm going to take my M8 flange bolt and my M8 flat washer, and I'm just going to hand thread that bolt in for now. And once I've got that in place, I'm not tightening it down completely. I just want to keep it up and in the air. And at this point, I'm going to grab another one of my M8 flange bolts along with the M8 flange nut. We're going to feed this right through the front, just like so. And I'm just going to hand tighten this down a little bit too. Again, I'm not trying to tighten these down completely. I want to keep them somewhat maneuverable until I get the actual running board on the brackets and I can make any adjustments that I need from there. And finally, we're going to do the same thing as we did with this bolt through this hole right here. So with all of our brackets in place, and we didn't tighten them down completely, we left them a little bit maneuverable in case we need to. We're going to turn our attention to the running board itself here. So here is our running board. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over on its back, and what we're going to find are these two tracks back here, and we're going to have three T-bolts in each track. Each of these T-bolts are also going to have a nut and a washer with them, and they're going to come essentially like this, kind of all the way tightened down. What we want to do is loosen that bolt or that nut rather, until it gets to the top of the bolt and creates a gap here that we're going to be able to slip into our bracket. So with all of those loosened up to a degree, I'm going to shift them around a little bit and kind of line them up with where our brackets are. And what I'm going to do is just do my best to turn these over with them moving as little as possible and slide our board onto the bracket. Now, the good news is that because this running board is made out of aluminum, it's really easy to maneuver. If there's a steel running board that was being mounted like this, it probably wouldn't be too easy, and I probably want to do it from underneath to get these lined up. But this is lightweight enough that I can kind of maneuver it on my own, just with my hands here. So once we have it positioned on our bracket, we could actually move it a little bit to get it just how we want it. So I have the ability to move it forward and back. I also have the ability to move it slightly in and out. And that's going to be the one that I'm working on first, because it might be tough to see from up there, but my front end here forces me to keep it a little bit further away than my back end back here does. So I'm going to want to bring this out a little bit to get it even, and I'm also going to make sure that it's positioned evenly front to back. So now that I've got my running board positioned right where I want it, I'm going to take my 13mm socket and I'm going to use it to tighten the bolts on the running board onto the bracket. Now that those are tightened down, I'm going to keep my 13mm socket and I'm going to go ahead and tighten down the bolts to my brackets going into the vehicle frame. And I've also went ahead and grabbed a 13mm wrench to help me out here with these ones on the side that we have both a nut and a bolt to tighten. Now, once you have everything tightened down, there's just one final step. You're going to want to grab your torque wrench and set it to the specific foot-pounds that it requires in the directions. Now, Romik has a different torque spec depending on the size of bolt. Now, all of the bolts on this set of running boards are M8, so they'll all take the same torque spec. You just want to pay close attention to what that is. And once you've got that, your torque wrench set, go ahead and get them all tightened down. So that's a look at the Romik RAL-B running boards on our 2025 Jeep Wrangler Unlimited. And if after watching this video, you decide that these are the running boards for you, you've got some questions about them, or you've been able to use them and you've got some thoughts that you want to share, go ahead and leave those in the comments below. We would love to share your experience with other neighbors so they can make the best decision for themselves. Once again, this is Curt with eTrailer. Thanks for stopping by.